So this chapter starts off with us seeing the continued onslaught by the heroes with the assistance of Gigantomachia on All For One. And they're just wrecking him, like all of them at the peak of their power, going all in, smashing him with named attacks and whatnot. And this seemingly would have finished the job. Like, All For One was essentially like killed by this because he has a super regeneration quirk, of course, just like Shigaraki had and the Nomus before him, so he can come back from this. But this causes All For One to get the most angry we've ever seen him in the series. As he's saying this, he launches off this, which he says is an incredible beam of light, and it just destroys Gigantomachia. I don't know if it's like completely going through him, but it's at least slashing through his torso big time, essentially one-shotting him. Like Gigantomachia, of course, one of the strongest, most durable characters to ever exist in the My Hero verse. So this is incredibly impressive, and this is also special because I think we're finally getting to see what All For One's strongest quirk is, aside from All For One itself. Because this beam of light, as he says, in my opinion, was hinted at many years ago, and I've always been interested in it because of that. And I don't really know if anybody cares about this stuff as much as me. If we go back to the All Might Rising OVA that we got, like in promotion for the first My Hero movie, it showed this flashback of when young All Might and Nana were taking on All For One, and All For One hadn't been nerfed yet, so he was essentially still in his prime, and that was like the only glimpse that we really got of All For One in his prime at that point, and he was doing some crazy stuff. And the craziest thing that he did was fire off this light beam thing that he does here, which is what he used to kill Nana and like destroyed that island or whatever they were. And I always wanted to see that come back into play, and I had speculated for years that like, hey, you know, if All For One ever reverts back to his prime or heals himself or whatever, or if Shigaraki becomes full power, we will get to see him use this laser beam quirk thing, energy projection thing that he has, and this is it. And it's pretty satisfying. It is unbelievably powerful. But aside from Gigantomachia getting hit by this, he seemingly kills Dark Shadow. Now, I don't know if Dark Shadow's dead. I don't think he is, but he's destroying the big kaiju version of him that has been formed, Abyssal Black Body Light of Balder. That aspect of him is being destroyed, and Hawks is like jumping in front of Tokoyami, taking the brunt of the attack too, somehow surviving this. But after he launches this beam off and just essentially takes everyone else out that was still mounting an offense, he picks up Hawks by the neck and he's like, I'm going to take that boy's quirk. But he actually doesn't take Tokoyami's quirk. He winds up taking Hawks's Fierce Wings quirk, which, yes, unfortunately that means that Hawks is now quirkless, which I thought was going to happen like last year or 2 years ago, but better late than never. I'm just glad that Hawks isn't dead, to be honest, because he's earned the right to live, I think, and I don't necessarily think the story would be better if he died, but I think a fitting ending for him would be losing his quirk. Hey guys, but real quick, I just want to talk about gamer subs because I love this stuff. I take it almost every day before I have to do the work that I have to do with YouTube, you know, the editing, the research, all that stuff. It helps so much because it doesn't just have caffeine in it like coffee or whatever. It also has nootropics, which make me feel so focused, energized, and calm all at the same time. Really great stuff. Now, I don't go to school, and I know that a lot of you do, so this would definitely will help with your studying and anything else you have to do. And I know we're coming towards finals, so I know things are getting pretty stressful for you guys, and if anything can help, it will be gamer subs. Check out their mango meta flavor, blowhole blast, Misfits melon, dragon fruit, citrus lemonade. They've got tons of flavors and they're all fantastic. So check out the link in the description and make sure you use code BIGZ. That way it'll give you a great discount and you'll be helping me out too. Thanks, guys. And now that All For One has it, it's still not like perfect, I guess, because of how damaged Hawk's quirk factor, you know, All For One says it's in a pitiful state. So I guess when All For One absorbs a quirk factor, he takes it as is, damaged and all, as we see his wings are damaged too. And I don't know if All For One can like combine this with another quirk and heal it, because it doesn't seem like super regeneration is able to heal pre-existing injuries. But anyway, Hawk says something interesting after this, and he's like, even though your body is rewinding, the amount of quirks you have remain unaffected. What a drag. So that is true. You think he wouldn't have access to as many quirks before since he is rewinding. So that would imply that he got all of these quirks when he was that young, which I guess is possible, but it could mean something else. It could mean that his body is being rewound, but it doesn't affect the quirk factor for some reason, which could possibly give us hope for the whole theory of All Might coming back to this battle using Eri's rewind vial or whatever they've synthesized on himself, similar to what All for One is. And then All Might rewinds, but he keeps his quirk factor and All for One and is able to use it more possibly. I don't know. I'm really high on the hopium with that stuff. You know me, I love All Might. But again, don't get your hopes up. I'll get my hopes up, and when we're disappointed, I'll just absorb the community's disappointment into myself. But then we get Mineta comes out of nowhere, like clawing on the ground. I guess he was affected by the big blast radius as well. And he's like, don't take Tokoyami's quirk, take my quirk instead. And he's trying to be comedic about it, of course, but All for One reacts as he should. He just looks at him and he's like, a freaking weakling. I can't waste another second. And then he flies away. So Mineta was successful in saving Tokoyami from All for One, despite it being extra pathetic, but I guess it's better than nothing. I just hope that this isn't like Mineta's ultimate final moment in the series, you know? But yeah, All for One like flies away like in the burst of a jet, like he's gone. And I don't know if this means that he's successfully going to make it to UA and use with Shigaraki. I mean, it kind of has to happen. It would be a little anticlimactic if he doesn't, or just anticlimactic if Shigaraki doesn't get full power of All for One. But anyway, we cut back to the headquarters and we see La Brava and Suguuchi trying to successfully use the evacuation system. And there's like a problem with one of them from the inside. Like they're trying to get the civilians from UA to Shiketsu to get them away from, you know, the battle, because we found out that their underground evacuation system connects. However, one of them isn't working because finally the MASH trader guy is coming into play and using his, I don't know, electricity quirk or something to short circuit the elevator or something. But then Gunhead comes out and I guess restrains him. So that's like Gunhead ultimate moment. Then we come to Tetsu and Kendo and the ceiling is like collapsing on them. And then suddenly out of nowhere, Death Arms comes. That's right, Death Arms is back. He kind of like retired, I guess, after the first war. But now he's back and he has his full character arc and remembers the very first chapter where Izuku, you know, moved without thinking to save Bakugo, as to where the other pro heroes, including Death Arms, couldn't. And he always revered Izuku because of that. And now he finally has his my body moved before I had the chance to think. And this is a nice little send-off for Death Arms. He had this quiet, little subtle, full-blown character story and arc going on throughout the entire series. But then we come to the end of the chapter where we see Ida carrying Shoto. And he's like, it's not over yet. And he looks up and we see Stain. Oh, I'm so excited, guys. So happy to have Stain back. I feel like he should have been in the series much more than this, but better late than never. And I don't think he's going to be an adversary to the heroes here. I think he is going to help them take down All for One. He's not going to be a hero. He never will be, but he will be anti-hero for sure. Like the best anti-hero in the series. And I just really hope that we have the coming to light moment where he faces off against Toga and Dabi. Like we've been waiting for this for like 8 years. Please let these characters meet each other and talk. It's like so important for everyone, including the audience. But that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you thought about this chapter in the comments. And if you liked the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.